Let's talk about some of the mistakes that you might be making in the gym currently that are holding you back from making good progress. All the mistakes that I'm going to be covering today are mistakes that I've made myself. Making them have learned me a lot. Being aware of these mistakes is very valuable. The first mistake that a lot of people are making is not pushing until failure. I see so many guys going into the gym, just doing their cute 4 sets of 8 reps with a very light weight, not pushing until failure, and they think that they're done with the workout. And then they're surprised that they're not making any progress. But what they don't realize is that the last few reps of the set, like the last 2 reps and the actual failing rep, those are the reps that really matter. And if you don't do those, you won't make any good progress. Sure, you might get some newbie gains or you might get a slight increase in your muscles, but real progress you won't really make. So push until absolute failure. And a lot of guys also don't really know what their point of failure is. What I like to imagine is, it's maybe a bit weird, but I like to imagine that someone is holding a gun to my head and I have to keep pushing until I fail. And when I fail, I'm getting shot. Of course, I want to make as much reps as possible. So that's a good way to imagine how many reps you can do and how far you can go until absolute failure. The second mistake that a lot of people are making is using too much or too little weight. I see so many guys lifting insane amount of weight on a bench press or with a deadlift or just regular bicep curls, for example. They lift so heavy that their form is all fucked up. Like, for example, with a bicep curl, they have to swing their whole body to move the weight up and they just look like idiots. We actually have this one guy in our gym. I think he's a bit mentally disabled, but he always uses so much weight, but he can't even move the weight properly. When he does that, his whole body is swinging and he looks like an idiot, and I think he's actually breaking the machines. Every time I see him, I'm just thinking, oh man, this guy needs to leave. Someone needs to tell this guy that he needs to lower his weight because he's breaking the machines. He's looking like an idiot, but also he's destroying his own body, because when you use such a heavy weight, you have such a high risk on injury, and it's just not something you want to do. So lower the rate to a weight that is proper for you. Then also using too little weight, that's basically the same. But I see so many guys coming into the gym having a very cute weight, not really pushing themselves because they're either afraid of actually pushing themselves and hurting themselves, or they just don't know that they have to increase the weight, or they don't know how strong they are. When you do this, you need to do like 20 or 30 or 40 reps until you actually reach failure. And most of these guys, they just do 8 reps and then they quit. So that's another thing that might be holding you back if you're struggling with making progress. Then the third mistake that so many people make, and that I was making for a very long time as well, is not warming up. Before, I would just enter the gym, I would go to my machine and I would instantly grab the weight that I had to do for my set. And the first set was always very heavy. I didn't feel nice, and sometimes I would even hurt myself. I wasn't making good progress, and only after about 2 or 3 years of working out, like about 1 year ago, I started stretching before and I started warming up with the exercise itself, and that's when I realized, like, damn, that's how it's supposed to feel. That's actually how you're supposed to act before a workout. And what I do before a workout is I grab a rubber band, for example, or a wooden stick, and I do these dislocates with where you move your arms backwards and forwards, and I do some external rotations for my shoulder and some internal rotations with a cable. Then also I like to do, for example, when I'm doing a push day, I like to do some simple tricep extension with a cable with a very light weight, or some bicep curls. Before a leg day, I do some squats, and I do some leg swings for my hips, and just simple movements like that, they really improve your workouts. Then also, before the actual exercise, I just sit down on the machine and I use a very light weight. For example, for my chest, for an incline chest press or something. I just do the exercise with zero weight, and I just move quickly, like 10, 15 times. And I put 10 kilograms on, then again, like 10, 15 reps, etc., building up to the weight that I'm actually going to do for the exercise. And this makes the exercise so much easier to do, not necessarily easier, but your muscles are actually warmed up so you can do the exercise properly. And also, you're avoiding such a high chance of injury, because when you're doing an exercise cold, your muscle doesn't really work properly yet. So you are going to compensate with other muscles. So for example, when I'm doing my chest and it's not warmed up yet, I'm going to use my shoulders, or I'm going to do a weird movement with my back or my arms, and it's only going to result in injury. So definitely warm up before a set. Then another mistake that a lot of people are making is not tracking their workouts and their rest times. This is something I used to do for more than a year, more than 2 years probably, and I didn't even notice that it was such a problem. I was just memorizing all the exercises in my head, like, oh yeah, now I have to do this exercise and then this exercise. And I was guessing by the time on the clock on the wall, like, oh, okay, I'm supposed to start my exercise again right now. And it just made my workout so inconsistent. I just couldn't see if I was making progress or not, because if you're tracking your workouts, you can actually see if you're making progress. You can see if you're progressively overloading every week. Progressively overload basically means that you're either increasing your amount of reps or your weight that you're using on an exercise. If you progressively overload every week, you are getting stronger and bigger. So that's very important to track that. And if you don't track your workouts, you won't know if you're actually making progress. What I had a lot of times before was I was just guessing, and I was either doing 60 seconds of rest, and then I would sometimes have 120 seconds of rest. I would forget about my rest, and then I was just sitting on my phone for like 5 minutes. This was fucking up my whole training. What this does is, if you're actually tracking your workouts and you're not tracking your rest times, then one moment you can do 8 reps, for example, and you can take 90 seconds of rest, and then you can do 8 reps again. But if you take a longer amount of rest, then you can do more reps after that. You think that you're actually progressively overloading and becoming stronger, but you're just taking more rest. So what I like to do is I always wear this one. I have a simple stopwatch on there. I can see how much seconds of rest I've had. You can use a timer on your phone. You can also use the clock on the gym wall, but that's a bit difficult because you have to memorize like the exact second that the clock is on. So I just recommend using the timer on a watch or your phone. This is very important if you actually want to track if you're making progress or not. Then something else that a lot of people are doing, which I'm actually kind of annoyed by, is that they're talking too much in between their sets and their exercises. The gym, it isn't some sort of social gathering place. It isn't a club where you talk with other people about all the things that you've done that week. Now, of course, it's okay to have a quick chat with someone, but don't go sitting on an exercise talking with someone for 10-15 minutes. It's so annoying because not only do you cool down entirely, after which you have to warm up again and get into your whole workout again, but also you're taking up space in the gym. You're keeping an exercise taken, and that's very annoying because when I'm working out, I have a very specific routine of exercises. And if I want to use a machine and it's taken by someone who's talking, I just get so annoyed because you're not doing anything. You're just sitting there on a machine, not using it. I mean, if you want to talk, sure. I don't mind if people want to talk in the gym, but go stand somewhere else. Go sit on a chair or something, or go stand in like the middle of nothing. Don't go sitting on a machine because this is just so annoying. You're just bothering other people and ruining their workouts. So of course, have a quick chat, like 1 or 2 minutes between your sets, between your exercises, but don't make it 10-15 minutes talking about your whole day, your whole weekend. It's just annoying. Before getting into the rest of the mistakes, I want to quickly let you know that you can get your physique reviewed and analyzed by me. By getting this, you will get a clear vision of what you're doing well and what you can improve on with your physique currently. You can get it by clicking the top link in my video description. Now, the last mistake that a lot of people are making, which is not really in the gym, but it's gym related. It's not eating properly. I see so many of these guys who are working their ass off in the gym. They're pushing to absolute failure, using very heavy weight, proper form, etc. And still, in like 2 years' time, they haven't really made progress. And this is probably because they just don't understand nutrition. They just don't understand how they should eat. I know a lot of guys who actually train super hard, but they drink a lot in the weekends, or they eat a shit ton of junk food and fast food, processed foods. They have their toxic protein powder with a ton of seed oils and sweeteners and all these other garbage ingredients. All these things, they are just ruining your progress. And I think that even if you're going extreme with this, then you're just working out for nothing. So nutrition is very important. I'm actually going to make a new video about the optimal diet for bodybuilding. So if you don't want to miss that, then subscribe and click the bell icon so that you don't miss the next video. That's the end of this video. Thank you a lot for watching. I hope that you've learned something new from this video and that you're now aware of some of the mistakes that you might be making. I'm very curious to what you think about this video, so send me a quick DM on Instagram. I've got the link in the video description. Thank you for watching and I'll see you in the next video.